All right, good day, peoples. Let's get going. I'm going to do Coney and Misty together today. So that's your treat. With no trades, these are fairly fast, so it makes sense to lump them together here. And I actually wanted to start with Misty, but since Coney's screen is there, let's go with what's in front of us. All right. So Coney's doing much worse than Misty is, just to give you a quick summary, because a lot of you own both. All right, so what happened? So we were down $5, 219 to 214, so we were down 2.25%. Coney did a little better, 1909 to 1873, and it was only down 1.89. Well, there's not any issue of being capped, so it makes sense that it goes down less because that's what these type of funds do. All right. So since there were no trades, there was actually no volume in share count, right? So you don't see a lot of change in the money here on the change, right? 632. That's like interest on the treasuries. Okay. So let's jump into the weekly. So this is nothing changed, but you can see that we're further out of the money, right? This is the 800 contracts that are out to next week. I think those were written yesterday. So other than that, we look pretty good. We're almost 10% out on this one. And this is the big one, guys. So we don't want to run past this 235. But that looks pretty ominous, to be honest. And Bitcoin's down a little, couple hundred points when I was looking in the 57-ish range. Let's see, I actually have it up today. Yeah, 57 175. So it's down 405. So it doesn't look like it's threatening anything here. And the overall equity markets, well, are down a little bit as well. Not much. Tesla looks like it's down a little bit. Coney looks like it's up a hair. Misty looks like it's about even to slightly down. Bitto looks down a little. Okay, so with that scenario, let's see what's relevant, right? Let's go over, we looked at weeklies. Let's look at holdings. How's our synthetic holding up? Well, in Coney, not that well, right? We're 42 million deficit. Now, the good news here, guys, look at this week's. We've captured 94%, almost 98%. So we're at 94.7. But that includes this small one, right? All these monies get lumped together. So we're still behind on this guy. We only collected 55,000 and we'd have to pay 244 because they wrote it much lower. But that's out there a ways and it's only 800 contracts. It's minuscule. These are the ones that if they buy them back for a penny or two tomorrow, then they'll write this 29, almost 30,000 worth for next week and we'll get more cash. So really, Coney's only going to get out of this funk if it in fact can sell a bunch of shares, right? If you guys buy into it. So we didn't have any triggered, but again, that's because of the creation units 25,000. I know a few people that bought shares, right? But there may be people fearing and getting out and selling and going, oh, this isn't looking good. You always have some of that. So look at the 42,000 relative, right? This has an 8/16 expiration. So we've been in this same synthetic and we've been progressing worse, 22, 24, 27, 42. So you can see it graphically here, right? It's not trending in the right direction, guys. Misty's doing better. It's not doing fantastic, but it was up. Misty was up and MSTR was up and Coin and Coney. are sort of underperforming. Bitcoin was flat, or sorry, BITO was flat, and YBIT was up if you watched that one. So 2 out of 3 of our funds were up a little bit, and Misty being the one that was up more. So let's see. This isn't adding up. So I've got a 1907 fair value. Oh, probably didn't update that. Let me go take a look. Yeah, that should be 1892, something like that. Whoops. This might be. Well, I'll get there. I guess I could just go look and see what it is. It's got to be 63. Yeah, 1873. Okay. Whenever I see that, I suspect something is wrong. It's the one area I didn't update. Okay. So, given that, we've got a bigger deficit here. We're winning the heck out of these, right? I'm confident if they ride them, unless BTC explodes next week, we'll win those. The bad news is we really should have it explode so we can get going, right? This has been a while. Like I said, if 57 breaks down and we go to 50 to 52, that could be the bottom, because that would be support. Remember, we've been to 53. If 50 to 52 doesn't hold, unfortunately, we're looking at 44.6. But again, I'm confident that the bottom's not in. I think it's close. We could even go down and have a double bottom and test 53 and come back. So let's see what it's going to do. It needs to get up to 60 to 61 if it's going to avoid breaking down. So it's not showing me it wants to do that yet. All right, so you know about the weekly. Let's just go straight to the payments guide. Nothing to see here, right? This is old. Um, so let's go right into the payment. So unfortunately, we took this big hit here. We've got some cash on our weeklies and we should win all these, but look at this. Now we're building up another paper loss. Now, granted, that's out to 816, I think. Yeah, 816. Okay, so the summary is there's no money here, right? Are they going to pay us? Yeah, they're going to pay us, but ultimately it's coming out of NAV until BTC takes off. That's something that Yieldmax does do. They do give you income when they don't have much to give you, right? But it's got to come from somewhere. In some ways, I'd rather have the income because I'm bullish. If I'm in a fund that's just NAV is crashing and I'm not bullish, heck, I'm out of here a long time ago. Uh, I'm pretty bullish on BTC, so I'm not worried, but I want it to happen sooner rather than later. We all do. We're all anxious and want it to happen. All right, let's roll in. So that's the story here. Let me get to Misty for you. Misty's a little more positive. So one of the other things I'm doing in Misty, like I'm doing in GDXY and a few of the other ones, is I'm tracking here. And I labeled it beat. And one of my subscribers said, "Hey, Bruce, why don't you color code when they don't win red?" Well, if I'm going to do that, then I need to color code in my mind green when they do win, right? And the issue is sometimes when I write multiple contracts on the same date, there's no change. So I'll just leave that my original orange. So you can kind of see down here, we're winning more than we're losing. But guess what? That happens when you're flat to down, because that means you're making money on the synthetic, so you beat the underlying. When we're rapidly roaring, then you're going to see yourself 1/3 or 1/2 sometimes the gain because you're getting capped. But that's also a relatively a positive because your NAV is working its way up. All right, so Misty is doing okay. Misty's got money in the bank. No contracts for Misty today. So if you roll out here, you don't see, oh, yeah, did I update that? Yeah. Oh, I didn't update it. I drug it down and didn't bother to update it. It really doesn't matter. It's not going to change a lot when you don't have share counts in. Um, so let's look at the synthetic. Although nothing happened out there, we've got a nice chunk of change in. The issue here for Misty is it's got 1 week, folks. We've got 6 trading days to go. So I don't see them rolling it today. Anything's possible. I think they roll next week, but let's see, right? They don't have much chance for the put to erode on the time decay. That's why sometimes they roll early. But they could also roll Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. So it'll be interesting. My gut says they don't roll today, but I'm not always right on those. Let's jump over and see what the weekly looks like and jump into the holdings. So here we are with the 25.35. Now they are closer, right? We're at 1380, but thank goodness that 1380 is only the 305, right? That's barely 10% of how many they have, probably 12. But the majority by far is here at 1410. So that's a healthy move up. Could it go up there? In a way, I'd love to see it go to 1410. We lose a little bit here, but we keep all of this, and boy, would that help the synthetic, right? And we'll talk about that in holdings next. So let's take a look at the synthetic. Now, that also is not particularly good, right? You've got a $47 million loss in that. But look where they've been. By moving up, they took it down from 60. It had been 57. It had been 58. So they're in a range here. And they kind of moved up yesterday, right? So they're at 2604. Fair value is 2606. So they're 2 pennies to the cheap. Um, so they're around 55% of having collected this stuff. The one we care the most about is right here, right? They stay below 1410, we pick up another 1.8. Now, granted, guys, I always say this, we've already been paid this 5.125 million, right? We just don't want to have to spend more than a penny or two to buy these back. And the 1380 could be, but based on what I see BTC in the pre-market, as I mentioned, it doesn't look like it right now. I think they win all these. Uh, they just need to get this down. But I'll tell you what they'll do on the roll. They're going to go roll. If we're in the high 13s, low 14s, they're going to go back to maybe a 1600. Remember, by using the flex option market, they can create their own strike price. They could make a 1540 or 1530 if they wanted, even if there wasn't one in the marketplace, because flex is sort of its own market. But again, they have to settle in cash, right? So you and I, as retail traders, if we put on this kind of position and it was well out of the money and wasn't any danger, we would just let it expire, worthless. But they don't have that privilege. They have to call, negotiate, and pay a penny or two to close that position. It's just, nobody talks about the negative associated with flex. They only talk about the positive, and they pretty much have to use flex because they don't want to be assigned early. And flex has a European option where they don't get assigned or can't get assigned. They just have a cash settlement at expiration. So that's why you see all those pennies, 2 cents, 3 cents, when in reality they're well below that strike. So just FYI, I know I've told many of my long-term guys, but in case anybody, and I know some of this is just over your head. It's like flex what? I only do flex in yoga. I gotcha. All right. So what else? Let's just jump to payments, guys. We've kind of done it all here. There's not much else. All right. Again, Misty looks better, right? So we've got 95 cents in the door. We didn't add any shares. Boy, I loved when Misty had 1 million shares. That was exciting. Even this was exciting with 3 million. It's not that much fun anymore. I mean, Coney's got what, 34 million or something? And I think Tesla is like more than that. NVIDIA's got the highest aggregate value because it's up 28, 29, and it's got a lot of shares, but Tesla's got a lot more shares. It's just in that $16 range, right? So those are the four biggest funds, guys, and the most popular funds is NVIDIA, Tesla, Misty, Coney. I think AMZ's up there, and AMDY. I don't have them. I did that report for you guys before, but I should update it, like once a month or something so you can see it. Okay, so that's what I got for you. That's your Misty, your beloved Misty, and your beloved Coney that maybe Coney is loved a little less, but I do see some of you guys buying, but sometimes it's like buying the falling knife, right? Let's say we get to 44.6, which I sure hope we don't, but anything's possible. If we do, it's probably another couple dollars down. It could be $3 down. But, what a bargain that would be if BTC comes roaring back. Okay, guys, this is Bruce, Targeted Wealth Creation. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Have a great day ahead. Bye.